What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that's the most important thing you can do for me on this channel. What it does is that it helps to make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get the notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm as well. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we are headed to my home state of California to talk some migrant crisis news, because it has recently been revealed that California State Governor Gavin Newsom has until the 31st of this month, which is just a couple days away, to sign a bill into law that would provide illegal immigrants with up to $150,000 in home assistance. I shouldn't say up to $150,000, excuse me. He will provide them with $150,000 in home assistance. Let's get into this article here. I'm going to go through three articles briefly, and I will have all three linked in the description box below, as well as pinned in the comment section as well for you to read at your leisure. And I strongly suggest that you do. Let's get through these articles. Lawmakers in California could soon make the Golden State the first in the country to make undocumented immigrants eligible for up to $150,000 in state-supported home loans. I stand corrected. It is up to $150,000. The Democratic supermajority in the California state legislature is likely to pass a measure this week that would make undocumented immigrants eligible for the California Dream for All loan program, a state-funded program that provides 20% in down payment assistance up to $150,000, according to a report for Politico. Participants in the program must be first-time home buyers. I repeat, and watch the trick language that's going to come up. Participants in the program must be first-time home buyers, and at least one must be a first-generation home buyer. What in the world is a first-generation home buyer? What is a first-generation home buyer? This is terminology that we have never heard before up until now. And to be honest, the very first time that I even heard the term first-generation home buyer, and I'm sure this was the first time many of you heard this as well, was when Kamala Harris put forth her proposal to give $25,000 in cash assistance to first-generation home buyers, right? So we all know what that means. We all know where the money is really going to go to as it pertains to all of this home assistance. You have to watch out for the trick language. You have to watch out for language like first generation home buyers. And I want you all to see how everyone is starting to propose these first-time home buyer programs like Kamala Harris. You saw something similar in Chicago, and it was a initiative that was shot down. Thank goodness it was first shot down by the courts, but then it was still allowed to go on the ballot, and it was called Bring Chicago Home. It was an initiative put forward by Brandon Johnson, and the initiative was supposed to provide housing for the homeless population of Chicago, but the people of Chicago were smart enough to strike it down at the ballot box because everyone knew and understood this was Brandon Johnson's trick way of providing more free homes for illegal immigrants in the city of Chicago. They already fast-tracked thousands of migrants, illegal immigrants, into homes in the south and west side of Chicago, and he was attempting to use the Bring Chicago Home initiative to continue on with the fast tracking by taxing, I believe it was properties that were sold for up to $1 million or more. They were going to get taxed a little bit higher, and once again, if I remember correctly, that was supposed to generate up to $100 million in revenue every year, and that $100 million every year was supposed to put the homeless in free housing. But when you looked at all of the fine print concerning who's classified as homeless in Chicago, there are two separate categories now. At one point in the city of Chicago, being homeless was just that homeless. You know what I mean? You're an American citizen, you're just homeless. But now the city of Chicago has two separate classifications within the category of homeless. There is asylum seeker and non-asylum seeker. Yes, the term asylum seeker is now a designated name for homeless in Chicago, right? So that let us know that if that bill would have passed through, asylum seekers who are now classified as homeless under that designation of asylum seeker in Chicago, they would have been fast-tracked into free housing via the Bring Chicago Home initiative. But once again, luckily, that was struck down by the people of Chicago. But I want to make sure to highlight this as well, right? Because this is what we could expect to see if Kamala Harris wins. If Kamala Harris wins, we can expect to see this here. And this is a direct quote from Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren stated, "We need tools in order to have more resources at the border, to have more resources in states and cities that are supporting migrants." What does that mean? That means that if Kamala Harris wins, not only are they going to give more resources to fast track the processing of illegal immigrants, but as it pertains to what I have highlighted in yellow, to have more resources in states and cities that are supporting migrants. What that means is that we're going to see billions and billions of dollars in federal funds being poured into states and cities like Chicago and New York, not for the citizen population, but for the illegal immigrant population. Remember, they're telling you everything that they're going to do before they do it. So what you choose to do in November, that's on you. This part of the article continues to read, and I believe we need to create a pathway to citizenship. Once again, this is still Elizabeth Warren. All of that is part of what we need to do. All of that is part of what we need to do for comprehensive immigration reform. Kamala Harris will work with Congress and get it done, she added. Kamala's going to get it done. She's going to get it done. But now let's head back over to California, because I do want to highlight one more other thing concerning this program that Gavin Newsom still has about till the 31st of this month to decide whether or not he's going to sign. This article here reads, "Currently, the down payment assistance is limited to citizens in California, but the new law would allow undocumented immigrants to receive up to $150,000 in home grants. The California Dream for All allows residents to earn 20% in down payment help from the state." We all know this already, but get this. It's a highly competitive program, with only 1,700 Californians previously receiving the grants out of 18,000 applications. Okay. This is a highly competitive program that you're lucky to get into when you apply for, and it's only available to American citizens at the moment. If he signs this into law and you thought it was hard to get that assistance, then you can kiss getting that assistance goodbye once you put illegal immigrants in the pot with it. You can kiss it goodbye. You now have to compete with the illegal immigrant population for this housing program. We're dealing with a housing crisis here, not just in California, but all over the country, if we're being honest. American citizens are struggling. American citizens would love to still be able to live the American dream. But now you have to compete with those who recently crossed the border illegally via the Biden-Harris administration. So once again, I don't think that this is very fair. And if you ask me, I think this is just, sounding the alarm, you can say, or blowing the horn, or laying out the welcome mat. There we go. Policies like this continue to lay out the welcome mat to say, hey, more illegal immigrants, go ahead, come cross the border. Come on over to California, and also come on over to Chicago, and come on over to New York, and come on over to Denver, and come on over to DC. Come on over. We have plenty of resources for you. Not for the American citizens. Don't worry about them. They're going to cry and complain. They're going to vote for us anyways. So don't worry about all that. But whatever you want, we have for you. Whatever you need, we're here for you. That is the DNC way. And with all that being said, that does it for today's video. So please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video out on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram and Rumble. That is extremely important that you follow me on Telegram and Rumble. Both the links to my Telegram and Rumble page will be in the description box below, as well as pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. And until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.